Welcome back to the Light Finance Global YouTube channel. It's my pleasure to be with you again. Today is the second part when it comes to the breakout candle, breakdown candle, and the price action after that with possible trading setups. So today we are going to try to fade upside or downside break. So guys, without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so let's try to counter the breakdown candle. Before we are going to discuss this, please do remember the video has educational purpose only. You have to do your own research and homework before risking real money. It's going to be a little bit challenging today. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, maybe even for more advanced traders, because we are not going to follow what we seen on the chart. We are going to try to counter this particular upside or downside break, but we have to follow some rules, and we have to first be patient and wait for some price action to happen. That's gonna be the most important thing here. All right, so first let's talk about the breakdown candle around the bottom. All right, that what we have seen over here. So there was a strong move, you have to believe me, earlier. Then there was a continuation and Niagara Falls, and finally we made this big candle to the downside. Some may call it, as I mentioned in the previous part, the gap. So usually we are trying to close the gap, and well, if that happened at the top somewhere, we would try to make with this type of the downside break, we would try to follow. But because that happened after big move to the downside, right? We are looking, as I mentioned, for the certain price action, and that's happened here because we closed above the top of that breakdown candle, right? And now, why I said it's gonna be a little bit more challenging, because we have to, and this actually there is no definition how high it should close. The way it's closing above, it should determine the way we are going to approach the counter trend, right? Well, in that case, it was the close above. I would say it was not, we didn't close, taking into the consideration the break to the downside, right? Taking 50%, we didn't close above by 50%. So in that case, what I'm looking for the pullback into the half of that downside break before I'm going to join the party to the upside. Of course, I choose the example to show you exactly how it works, all right? But if we are going to see again 50%, and let's assume that we have the close somewhere here, right? And we are going to have a pullback, that then what I'm looking for is going to be retest just off the top of this breakdown candle. So that would be the entry during the pullback. So again, if the close is, that could be our own definition. If the close above the top of the breakdown candle is less than 50% of the size of that breakdown candle, all right, we are waiting for the pullback into the 50%. If the close is higher than 50%, we might try to watch out what is going on at the top of this breakdown candle, trying to trade into the opposite direction. hopefully that's quite clear enough. And of course the ratio 3R, or you may want to trade a little bit different way, that if your first target is going to be the size of the breakdown candle, so in that case you are creating the range, meaning that that would be your first target in that particular case. Of course, when it comes to the execution, because it's as previously, it's going to work on each and every time frame, but you might want to switch to the lower time frame for execution. Also, higher time frame is not going to be the most common pattern, but if you are a day trader or even scalping trader, that's what might happen very often. And as I mentioned before, especially around the European or US Open. So let's have a look when it comes to the opposite direction. That's what we have here. Two examples. As you can see, big rally, big rally, big rally, big rally, then final breakout candle. We were not able to hold it, all right, and pullback. In that particular case, look at the close below the candle once we fall below. So then the bottom of that breakout candle was the entry. There was an attempt again, and big move to the downside. But it was quite few possible trades here, especially if the execution would be on the smaller time frame. Very similar situation we've seen here. Even with the close well below 50% of the breakout candle, we retest 50% of that candle anyway. But we haven't moved above, so the stop was totally safe, and that was again the very, as you can see, profitable trade. So depends what's your approach. It was quite nice few pips to take. So hopefully I was able to add based on the one thing, breakout candle or breakdown candle, I was able to add two possible strategies to follow the trend if we are breaking out at the bottom, or if we are breaking down at the top following the breakout, or trying to counter the trend if we are trying to break down at the bottom, or if we are trying to break out at the top. With that being said, guys, wish you great next trading session. See you around, take care, and goodbye.